clean. Neat. Door open.
I keep kicking.
Well,
That's not.
it's good, it's good. Well, you see us all now, you're good.
When you sweat, just adjust that thing.
And, I'll bring the first one, Enzo.
Oh! Alright, we're good.
We're good.
We're good, we're good.
We're sorry for the way we're gonna have to do this today, guys, but it's the best way to visualize the three of us.
Visualize. Yeah, it's because we're still trying to play with our visuals. Instagram Live, for some reason, they really screw us over. So, today, No Name Podcast, episode 15.
We got our special
Our
guest.
special guest, Chris Simeone.
Bonjour.
He's going to be here to talk about a whole lot of stuff.
Yep.
So,
He's already laughing.
man, yeah, best laugh.
Okay, we're gonna do an introduction on Chris because you have to know his background, but you guys won't stop laughing just by laughing at his laugh. It's
Yeah.
very contagious. That's all I'm gonna say.
Contagious laugh. Try to pay attention as much as you can.
Take down notes if you
Yeah,
can't.
you might want a piece of paper and pen, maybe a gun. I
I wouldn't go that
don't know.
far.
Yeah. Well, after he blows your mind with all the information, yeah, you're probably gonna be like, oh, fuck it. No. But yeah. So Chris,
Well, I would just want to say that me and Chris go way back to high school, and as much as we didn't speak as closely as we were still friends. Just not as close as some of my other friends. But it's funny how life goes on, and you realize certain things, and then you come together as I guess I could say as one when everybody opens up and understands certain things.
I agree.
let's
Be
just
as
say,
bluntly as possible, but
No,
yeah,
I agree. I
It's
agree.
easy.
When you're young, you have no idea what's going on, and the older you get, the more you see stuff.
Yeah.
let's just say that as much as COVID has been
Eye opener.
an eye opener for it's been an eye opener for everybody. I think we've lost and gained friends.
Uh-huh.
The friends you thought you had are not who you thought they were, and the people who you didn't think they were are your new friends now. So
It's a nice cleanse.
pretty much, yeah.
And hopefully, to be honest, as a side note, but hopefully we'll be able to work together and bring in new aspects to the gym, which is I think is going to be something completely different, but well worth it for everybody and everyone. I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be good. So I'll let Chris introduce himself. No one better than him to introduce himself. So Chris,
That's true. I
take
guess.
it.
Where do I start? That's the reality, right?
Hi, my name is Chris.
I'll start with my laugh first, since that's what they hyped up. I am a laughter champion. I know that sounds weird, but in 2014, I joined my first laughter championship here in Montreal. I won most contagious laugh in all of Montreal. From there, I became a laughter yoga instructor, and I learned more about laughter and the benefits of it and everything that has to do with laughter. The older you get, the more stressed you are. And the truth, like TJ was saying about COVID, is you really cleansed out all that stuff that was negative. Harnessing your light in a certain way. And let's be honest, we were bored at home, and the biggest thing that really made us get through the day is laughing. Funniest home videos. My wife's totally into TikTok stupidities, and the truth is, the more you laugh, the more you get in tune with yourself.
And you reduce stress.
And reduce stress like crazy. And that's something we're going to be talking about a lot, because stress is the number one killer, and you can check anything to figure out that's the truth. As an instructor for CPR and first aid, one of the things we talk about is what can you control in your life, and the majorest thing you can control is your stress, because your stress is what causes cholesterol issues, it causes diabetes, it causes everything you can think of. So the moment you got your stress in control, you're good. And I'm not saying that stress is evil. No, I'm saying perceived stress. That's what's evil. Real stress is in the moment. What, for example, as an instructor for CPR, if this guy were to fall on the floor, I'd be stressed. I'd be like, oh, how am I going to save him? Well, because I have the information, I'm not stressed anymore. But that stress that's pushing me to say, Ant, call 911. Let's get ready. I'm going to do the CPR. If you have an AED in here, that's the knowledge that keeps me calm, but it's the stress that's pushing me forwards. So CPR is something Anthony and I have spoken about. We can make everybody confident in knowing how to save someone's life. And when it comes to laughter, well, you're saving yourself. So as a champion, I just became champion of the most diabolical laugh in all of Canada. And I said all of Canada because the competition was all over Canada. I competed against people in Alberta, British Columbia. It was all online. As crazy as it is, thanks to COVID. And, you know, I'm a champion of that now. So I'm very excited to be here. I'm very happy to have reconnected with Anthony because the truth is I'm super proud of him. This is a massive goal he attained. And I really, I gotta tell you, my hat goes off to you. So if anyone else hasn't done that, I will tell you every day.
Appreciate it. Don't make me blush now.
Well, another thing too is I'm a yoga teacher, and I can even teach laughter yoga to people as a teacher for that too.
That's something that we will be talking about for sure. I mean, yoga is yoga, but whoever thought about a yoga laughter? So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I would have never thought that.
And I'm actually developing my own thing, but that's a whole other topic, so we're gonna have fun with that later.
And he's also a level 1 Reiki, which I
Yeah.
didn't know, and this is why when he started talking to me about this stuff, and I saw his peak in interest about energies and stuff, like, where the hell is he getting all this? It's like, yeah, I'm a Reiki 1 and oh shit, man, no wonder. So yeah, it's, you know what, in the past 10 years, I think you don't know people until you speak to them and understand what they've gone through and whatnot.
Me too, I'm a level 1 Reiki. I rake my grass.
Of course. And here's the laughter.
The grass.
The
The
jokes.
jokes don't have to be good. Just laugh.
It's good. It releases stress. Apparently. So,
Yeah.
we're going to be bringing up a lot of topics today.
But thanks for cutting me off, by the way.
It was an ongoing sentence. I have to cut you
No, it
short.
wasn't. But anyways, yeah, continue.
I don't know what to say
I don't
anymore.
even
I had to
remember.
make my little shitty dad joke, and now it is what it is.
Hey, at least you know it's a dad joke. You don't call me dad joke.
And, you're not a dad yet, no.
No, I'm not.
But yeah,
Should
what I
concern
was
my
saying-
fur babies, but that's about it.
So what I was saying is, you could actually accomplish a lot growing up in the last 10 years. I mean, I think Chris has accomplished a lot too. I've only seen him in high school as much, and not for anything. I always thought he was the smart one, but seeing him explain to me his path, I was like, holy shit, I didn't know any of that.
That's very sweet of you.
I swear to God, I thought he was the smartest one out of, well, clearly the smartest one of all three of us, probably. But hey, there's a level of there's level of education at different levels, I guess, and I mean, everybody's good at something, everybody's good at something else, and mastering something else. So I think I would say the three of us right now can accomplish a lot if
I think we've already have accomplished.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, as we move forward and with everybody else on board,
Yeah.
there's additional pieces that keep adding to the team that I think are just phenomenal for everyone in every aspect. So I'm glad that Chris actually he reached out to me. I want to put that out there. I'm glad he did, and there's a lot of things that opened our eyes too. Me and TJ.
Yeah,
It's
like
fucking
we want to
crazy.
fill everything in one podcast, but Chris will definitely be back eventually.
Yeah,
And I'm
I will be
just
back.
Yeah.
But with clothes on, not like the Terminator naked, okay?
Dun, dun, dun.
So
And a fucking electric bulb.
yeah, like we were saying about Dragon Ball Z. Yeah.
Coming in. Wait, it's not- okay. So yeah, we're gonna get into it.
Yeah. So TJ, I think you had this first question.
Did I have the first
I
question?
know you want to ask him something before. No?
Yeah, but bro, I have the brain memory of a rat. Fucking squirrel.
Write it down. Get him another pen and write it down.
Yeah, Chris is the guy who likes writing things down.
Yeah,
While he
big
explains it.
visual learner.
I'm gonna give you back the pen. All right, so what are we starting with?
Chris.
I think it's good to start with the fact that if you believe there's energies out there, I'm going to tell you it's true. And when I say this, let's fully say based on the eye, right? As Italians, we all know you got the malak. What does that even mean? Well, think about it. If someone's sending you such negative energy and you feel it and it's starting to affect you, who's to say that's not true?
By the way, Thursday was the first time TG actually witnessed what energy felt like
Yeah.
because of Chris.
Yeah, so Chris is a level, like you said, a level 1 Reiki.
Yeah, Ricky.
Reiki, and he's like, he was talking to me. He's like, "Oh, you never felt energy before." I'm
Hold on,
like,
let me. All the stuff that he's finally witnessed Thursday, after all this time calling me the weird one, after all this, he finally understands what energy is.
So I never called you the weird one. I just like to bust your chops.
I know.
So like, anyway, so we're talking, me and Chris, and he's like, "Oh man, you never felt energy before?" I'm like, "Nah, man." And he's like, "Dog, check this out." So he's like, put your hand down." I'm like, "All right." So I put my hand down. He puts his hovers his hand over my hand about 2 inches, and I'm like, "All right." So he's talking to me like face to face and having a conversation, and like 45 seconds into you talking, he's like, "What do you feel?" I'm like, "Man, I don't know. I feel some weird." It's like, "Do you feel like a pulse in your hand?" I'm like, "Yeah, it feels like 2 magnets pushing into it." He's like, "Well, there you go. Now you feel energy." I'm like, "Wait, so like I can start like throwing Kamehameha waves or some shit?" He's like, "Yeah, man, for sure." Man. So yeah, no, that shit exists. It's true.
And I really recommend a great channel called Spirit Science on YouTube. And you know, if you want to go more into it, go for it. But we're gonna talk basic in the way that you already possibly know. There's 7 of them, and there's an 8th one too. Which you want to go more into the 8th one? that you're like,
We'll talk about it and then go into it after.
cool.
Yeah.
So let's begin with the red one. Because like the Red Power Ranger, he's the leader.
Actually, the Red Power Ranger is the leader, but it's actually Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger, who's actually the real leader. He became the White Ranger.
The White Ranger.
green.
Wait,
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense.
Green,
But wait, it makes a lot of sense that the White Ranger is the leader because of the source.
Now we're getting somewhere. That's funny, huh? We're
All
really
in all,
Power Rangers, eh?
yeah. So we're gonna tag Jason David Frank in this one.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
totally
guaranteed.
will. And you know what's crazy? He was a Red Ranger for 2 seasons as well.
Yeah, that's true.
As
And,
Zeo
Dino Thunder and Zeo,
and
yeah.
Thunder.
Yeah.
Dino Thunder,
Wow,
he
we
was black.
just geeked out on you guys. Yeah, 90s. We still have the best shows. So yeah.
Oh yeah, we
Fuck you
did.
guys.
Today is very sad, the stuff that's out there.
Holy shit.
The only thing I can actually recommend as a educator is Paw Patrol, because it actually teaches you the people who are real heroes out there, saving people as a cop, and they even wanted to remove the cop, but that's a whole different topic. So let's get to red. So as you might know, red is root. And you want to go more into it?
Your root chakra, your basically your structure of life, your insecurities. Basically, the root is your grounding form. And you know, when I said a couple of podcasts ago, I think it was, where you ground yourself in nature. That's your root chakra. You get connected to what's under you, what's nature has given to you. So it gets you connected to the rest of your energies and chakras, as we're gonna mention today as well.
So it makes you really appreciate nature as well.
Yeah.
And I think the most important part is, do you ever notice where your food comes from? Because it did come from a farm. Someone worked really hard to grow the plants, and so for you to have food. And that's a way of showing appreciation towards it. Next one is orange. Want to tell us more about orange?
So your sacral chakra, your
Pumpkin.
it is orange.
What a guy.
Your
pumpkin
sex
chakra.
chakra as well.
Hey, what came
whoa,
first,
whoa,
the
whoa,
color
whoa,
orange
whoa,
or the
wait.
orange itself?
No. Orange. Wait. What's your sex? What? Hold on. You can't even say that. So your sex chakra.
Is your
Try
sacral
to say that shit fast. Sex chakra. Sex chakra. You can't even
tongue
do it.
twister. Sex chakra.
Okay, so it's
It's your
orange.
sacral chakra.
You telling me I'm a pumpkin when I'm having sex?
This is why we have someone who has no idea.
Yeah.
So everybody feels like, wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
And he's saying it for you.
I'm the dumb one who's gonna ask the dumb question.
Nah, there's no such thing as dumb.
But yeah, so sex chakra is basically your manlyhood. It's man or woman, but it's your manlyhood. It's your.
There's like 47 genders, man. I don't know, man.
Stop it with these gender
Is
stuff now.
there like different shades of orange?
Okay, let's get something clear. Let's get something clear.
Like, come on now.
There's no
Oh, shit.
47.
Then open the
There's
book.
Man, woman,
You're
characteristics.
getting canceled,
There's
motherfucker.
female.
You're getting fucking
Just so we save ourselves from cancel culture, what we're saying is, if you look at yin and yang, they
Yes,
will tell you,
thank you.
themselves that there's such thing as female energy and
Male
male
energy.
energy.
Yeah, see, it was
I
yin
have
and yang.
female
There wasn't
energy,
Chong
you
and
have
Yin.
female energy as well, and we have male energy as well.
What do you mean you have female energy?
I'll tell you more about that
Yeah.
too.
And that's female energy.
So you're saying what? Just because I have emotions, I'm a female?
And that's
No.
exactly why in society
No,
they
but that's
talk
what people
about.
are thinking right now. I'm asking the
But
question.
no.
True. Yeah.
Okay, so let's elaborate.
Elaborate.
So, when you think, when you're more passive, when you're more on your intuition and emotional side of things, is your female characteristics, which is your left side dominant of your body. Your right side dominant of your body is more taking action, mental math, stuff like that. So that's more to take. That's more of a male role. So if we look back at our ancestors, the male role was what? Basically gathering and killing, hunting and gathering and
No, it was just hunting. Gathering was for
Sorry,
the,
yes,
beta
sorry.
males.
A lot of pressure right now. Give him some time.
I meant to say that they're the hunters and they're the hunters, right? So they took on a lot of the action, whereas the female characteristics were more passive. They were more just the gatherers and just held back and would protect their own, right? So that's where the female characteristic and male characteristic comes into play, and that's where also the yin and yang and the balance, which we all have inside us, and which all connect us to the earth and the universe, or whatever you want to call it. But we are the middle ground between the earth and the universe. So we are the yin and yang between everything.
And just to add on, before TJ says something really funny, in my opinion, because I laugh, is that, you know, there were males who were in the garden, so it's not like they couldn't do that.
Well, that's what I was
It's
about
the
to
fact
ask.
that in the past, language wasn't as developed as today. So when they wanted to differentiate two different things, they would look at a male and a female and say, there you go, difference. That's why you can even say white and black. But that's another cancel culture we don't want to get into. So we'll say light and darkness. I don't think that's okay.
That's perfectly fine.
They'll find a way. They'll find a way. Some Karen
find
right
a
now
way.
is fucking looking. Son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
And you know what's really interesting is that through meditation of my own, I feel like orange is where the ego lives. And in the ego lives in the way that, you know, when you think of yourself as only male, you tend to not be balanced. And that's the main goal here. The main goal is that we're balanced human beings. Because if we're not balanced, well, we're obviously having issues. And that's the truth. Anthony, tell us more about being unbalanced and how that causes sickness.
So, yes. We know that we'll take it as a physical aspect of the body. When you look at someone that gets sick, you know right away there's a biochemical imbalance of the body. So there has to be some kind of imbalance between the cells that are basically trying to either kill something or attack or attack its own immune system, which if you attack your own immune system, then you start creating diseases and stuff. So that's where the imbalances in the body happen. That goes to basically the natural laws of life as well. If there's an imbalance inside the body, or there's an imbalance in the exterior part, there's an imbalance in the brain as well with your cognitive function, those just produce more illnesses and sicknesses. So and also if there's an imbalance in your nutrition, your day-to-day playful lifestyle, basically if we take nutrition, if you're always eating junk, no matter what, we know that it has harmful effects on the body, then there's no balance there. There's a balance when you're eating as clean as possible, and then every now and then you could have fun and splurge and cheat every now and
I
then.
think
So
that's
there's the
more
healthy
for-
balance.
I think that's more for the brain. That when you cheat, you're happier because you get that.
Well,
dopamine
it's also
level.
a reset for the body. Though. It's not just the brain, but it's a whole reset for the body where it teaches the body what is an intruder to the body.
It's like
and
I reset
excrete it.
like 4 times a week.
To really add on to what TJ is saying is that pleasure has a drop.
Yeah.
Right?
The
So
orange
if
jacket.
you're doing it to pleasure, you will come to a fall.
I like the orange one.
But if you go to a good balance of frequency, there is no real fall because you don't really feel it.
100%.
And another big thing to add on to Anthony is, scientifically speaking, if you know how your immunity works, due to laughter, I've learned a lot about stress and laughter. See, laughter brings upon endorphins, which strengthens your immunity system. But the more stress hormones you have, the less strong your immunity system. It weakens it. So when people get sick, majority of the time, you can ask any doctor, it's because your immunity system's been under attack and it can't handle what's going on. So I really appreciate that you brought that up, because that's important. And that was yellow, I believe, right?
That was orange.
That was orange in itself. So now we're going to move on to yellow.
So yellow, and this we were actually talking about on Thursday, was that everything below yellow is basically your ego and the material part of world. Once you start hitting your yellow is your solar plexus, and that's where you start elevating to a higher frequency, and you start becoming closer to light, you start becoming closer to what you might be more in tune to. So that's where the intuition is your solar plexus. So a lot of people that might have blocked up stomach, or they can't go to the bathroom because they feel like there's a knot or a pit in their stomach, well, that's because you're not letting go of something. There's something that is blocking your solar plexus. And basically you lose, I wouldn't say you lose, but you don't bring out the actual person you're supposed to be. And you block it, you hold in a lot of fears or emotions, and it doesn't get you to living life joyfully, because that is the joy and happiness as part of that solar plexus emotional aspect.
And to add on to that, before TJ says something funny, is that
No, I had nothing to do.
your yellow is where you contribute to society. And when you contribute, that's real pleasure. Not the pleasure that, let's be fully honest, music and all the things out there that just make you think pleasure is a moment of excitement, if anything. It's not only that. There's enjoyment in hanging out. There's enjoyment right now. We're contributing with this podcast. We're contributing to the community that we really believe in, and we want to help out. And that's the way that makes us feel like we're giving. And solar plex, if you look at the word, it means the sun. It means contribution. If you look outside, if it wasn't for the sun, nothing would grow. That's the truth. But even when it rains, so that's why it needs balance. That was really good. Anything you want to ask?
No, good. That was it's intriguing. I did not know the solar plex meant that, but that's pretty cool.
See, if he's getting it, you're getting it. Let's move on. So let's go for
Dumbass gets
green.
it. You guys are getting it.
So set us up for green.
The heart chakra. So this is, and if you've seen other podcasts, me talking about how we have to open our heart chakra more. And to be honest, I think with feeling the vibrations of the earth and everything moving at a exceptional rate nowadays, I think a lot of people's heart chakra are opening significantly. So the heart chakra is, if it's closed, people are going to have confidence issues. They're not going to have enough self-love. So basically, you're always putting yourself down. And I always say this, especially with clients, it's you before anyone else, because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else, right? So if you can't give yourself this, you can't give yourself your own self-love, how can you give love to someone else, or to even an object for that matter, or your pet? So that is the green for the heart chakra. The heart also is the way of opening up to a higher dimension, I think. So once you understand what the solar plexus unleashes and you open up your heart chakra, you are literally making decisions through your heart and through your intuition. So yes, the solar plexus is intuition, but everything comes from the heart. If you follow the heart, and it's not, those cheesy line sayings, but if you actually follow your heart, you will succeed much more in life, because your heart actually dictates what you need and what you enjoy the most.
I agree. Are they asking questions by any chance?
No, they're just
Or-
joining.
Okay, cool.
I think they're really intrigued. Nobody's asking any questions right now.
Okay, good.
TJ's asking it all for us.
To add on to Anthony's heart chakra, it manifests what's going on in society, but it also manifests what you want into the world. So now that I've become also a teacher of meditation, part of meditation is recognizing what is, recognizing and observing what you have to accept as truth. Because the truth is, can you really argue something and feel, never mind, scratch what I just said. TJ gave a great little speech on his video cam, and it was fantastically explained. You can't pressure people, right? You want to just say that for a few minutes?
Pretty much opinions, man. You have an opinion, stick to your opinion, and there's nothing wrong with having your opinion. That's why we live in Canada. We have the freedom of speech, we have the freedom of thought. You have an opinion, it's great. The moment you start pushing an opinion on somebody, that's when things start to change. You push an opinion, I'm pushing an opinion on Chris. No, you have to believe me because this is the truth. No, it's not. It's a matter of opinion. It's not factual. It's just me saying, I want to win. It's my opinion, and me, and you got to believe me because that's just the way it is.
Exactly.
As soon as you start doing that, and I think the past year and a half, I think we've seen a lot of people change and a lot of people try to push shit on other people, and that's why we are where we're at right now. There's a huge division because everybody has an opinion whose opinion is based off of the bigger picture because that's where they're getting all their information. And well, there's the people who want to find the truth and the people who just want to whatever. So I'm not going to go too much into that.
But that was good enough because to move on to that, he mentioned self-love. Imagine, and you don't even have to imagine it, you feel it. If you can't love yourself because other people are telling you you're not good enough, then what happens?
Yeah.
You really don't believe it.
Yep.
So that's why self-love is the most important thing. And real self-love is when you value your own opinion. When you come to realize that you're a person too who would like to contribute.
Yep.
People who shun that, shame that, tell you, no, you can't talk like that, they're stopping you from growth.
Exactly.
And when they stop you from growth, they're stopping your heart chakra. And if you ever look at the reality of heart problems, it's the fact that people are overly stressed. They're trying to meet these high expectations. Boom, they have an anxiety disorder after. Boom, because they haven't met those certain expectations, they might fall into a depression. And these are realities. This is why I don't believe in anything else but the truth. And I'm willing to say an opinion, know it might be wrong, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, if he was able to feel energy as realistic, well, who are we to say anything, right? Isn't that what science is supposed to be?
Exactly.
Right? Isn't science supposed to be the search for the truth? So this is a plant. How do we know it's a plant? Because it started as a seed and it grew into that. It needed water. How do we know? Because we gave the water.
Yeah.
It needed sunlight. We put it next to the sun. We take that into a room where there's no sunlight, no water, no nothing. What's going to happen?
So if I add to that, what he is basically saying is, or it's obviously it's based on science, but science comes with experimenting.
Yes.
Right? So experiments. If you can't experiment
Vince
your
said,
own,
I
I
agree.
agree. Yeah, Enzo said. If you can't experiment your own ways, if you're not doing your own tests, how can you base yourself on opinions and something that's true? There's a lot of misguided truths out there that can be true for some and not true for others until you do your own experiments. You know, you take like a tree, a plant, I mean, like Chris was saying, some need water, some need just sun. I've killed so many plants because I put it next to the sun by accident without knowing, but it's my living experience. So that's where science comes in with, okay, we have to experiment on this, this, and this, but it's not always the one fix all for everyone, right? So
Yeah.
you have to find your own.
Just like training, right? Not all forms of training work for everybody.
Yeah.
Period. You take a
Nutrition,
person
same
who's
thing.
overweight and say, all right, now we got to do 14 sets of this. No, it's not going to work for that person. They're just going to overexert themselves and get fed up, and that's it.
There you go. And that is where it comes to the chakras and overpowering it. Because see, everyone's chakras are different. As much as they are here, everyone has a different level of what it is because everyone's genetics is different. It's unique. And that's the beauty of it, right? That we're all uniquely ourselves. But when you think about the fact that people shun you and they tell you, no, you gotta listen to this. Well, I'm sorry, I agree, I disagree. You should never force anything upon anybody. That's oppression, and in my opinion, that's cruel. Anything considered cruel is wrong. That's as simple as that.
And bullying.
And
Yeah,
let's-
100% on that one.
Now I'm just gonna sidetrack just a bit because with what you said, it's cruel when you're pushing your opinions on people. Because what happens is that when you start pushing your opinions on people, people start to fight back or whatever. Then you start getting even more angry. So you start pushing the levels. And look what's happening now. People didn't want. Let's say I have my opinion, Anthony. No, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to because that's the truth, whatever. Now Anthony's saying no. Look, listen, I don't believe in it. This is my opinion. I don't, whatever. Now I'm starting to get angry because I don't have my own self-love. I have to
Prove it.
I have to prove to him that this.
Prove
is
to yourself.
Yeah, prove to myself. I have to push you on this. Now I start getting violent. Okay, so this is what's happening now because the things I hear is pretty pathetic. People are actually literally saying the people who don't get whatever shouldn't be eligible for
Shouldn't have certain rights.
rights. No, not even that. Shouldn't be eligible for medical attention.
Yeah.
Now
Oh,
that,
that's- yeah.
now that shit. Let's just say I've seen this before. Well, not personally, but I've read in the history books. You know, in between 1939 and 1945 kind of shit. Just saying, people who are thinking about this, who actually can say, "No, Chris, you know what? You don't believe what I believe. You should not get medical attention." So pretty much, I'm saying, you should die if you die.
Exactly.
So in the end, the person that's apparently protecting the world, because that's the lie that they're trying to fucking push on you. Protect yourself, protect your neighbor, but yet, oh well, if you don't get this, well, I hope you die.
Hey, let's add to that.
Yeah.
People who were reporting on family members for gathering.
Right?
Right? Let's protect each other.
Yeah.
But let's be fully honest for a few seconds and say this. Don't we believe in freedom of choice? I graduated from a program where I learned at a young age as well that individuals who are elderly deserve to live the life they want.
Exactly.
They deserve to choose how they're going to leave this world. Who are we to impose that on them?
Yeah.
We're talking about people who, let's be fully honest, fought for our rights in the war. They literally built the streets we drive in. They did everything for us. I appreciate my grandparents more than anything else because of the fact that they were brave enough to travel to a new world
Literally.
and do what they had to do for us. Let's be honest. And so this is why life is about formulas. Not mathematical, because everyone's going to obviously freak out when I say math, but it's the idea of formulas. If we know that 1 + 1 = 2, and someone's telling you it equals 3, what happens then? You're ruining knowledge.
Yeah.
You're taking it away. And if you make your own knowledge, you go figure out your own things, who's others to tell you you're wrong? If you're experiencing it, it's your life. Why not? And you know what? The biggest cancer in life, and I'll tell you right now, people will get mad, but remember, it's my personal opinion. I'm not making it to say anything else. Competition. Competition, in my full opinion, as an educator for young individuals and as a coach for sports, is the fact that competition is to be in sports and only sports. When you bring competition into education, look, this poor bastard was calling himself stupid. He's not stupid. He's a wonderful human being. But because of competition, he thinks he's lower than me. And I'm telling him, no, you're not. Get back up. We're the same equal guy. But the fact that it's in his head, he doesn't even think he's worth it. How ridiculous is that? There's no such thing as a stupid question.
No, that's true.
I am the master of questions, and people have always said they're stupid. And I say, well, aren't you happy that it got you a mark? Because if I didn't ask that question, you would have never been able to answer that question.
Exactly.
There you go.
And a lot of people are scared to ask questions. That's because like
They're shunned.
they're shunned. Like, oh,
And when
what a
you're
dumb
shunning
question.
someone, you're ruining their heart chakra, which is the reality at the end of the day.
And that's what most people don't understand growing up, and that's why the high school and kids nowadays, they're feeling so much pressure because of the yeah, no, I saw that.
TJ,
They're
you're
feeling
wonderful. Oh, thanks, man.
they're closing in, and they're getting bullied at school, they're getting bullied at high school and all that stuff, and I'm sure you've seen it all, teaching kids. And
do it every day.
I see it when I go to the high schools, and it's like even kids that come into the office, and TJ's seen it too with his clients. It's
Oh
like,
yeah, 100%.
what the hell is going on with the freaking society? And like everybody's just pinned down to be the best, but they can't be the best because everybody's just putting them down even more.
Another thing I do, because as you're gonna notice, I have a lot of skills.
Excluded, yeah.
The reason why I have those skills is because, as Anthony was explaining to us before, that he was very surprised to find out I have a learning disability. And the fact of that is I had to learn my own way instead of the educational way. I had to fight in education to get my right to have someone read something to me in high school. I had to do that by myself. Well, luckily I had a lot of good support. And yeah, sure, my parents were great support, but I'm really talking about my tutor. Because see, if it wasn't for my tutor, my parents would never understand who I was. Because what do they know about learning disabilities? What do they know about special considerations?
What do most people like? know about it?
Nothing.
Nothing. Exactly.
And this is where my background is behaviors. I am a behavior interventionist specialist. And so to answer your question of what's going on in society, it's as simple as opening your Instagram and saying how many followers you have. And valuing yourself because of that.
Yeah.
Like, we don't get many people, who cares? It's the people who matter who are watching us. It's the people who are willing to say, you know what, I want to know more. Not the people who are going to, listen, haters
Will always be
will
haters.
welcome you because at the end of the day, the truth is you're in pain. Someone who is a hater and chooses to be cruel is because they've been cruel to them. Here's the thing about bullying, and I'll tell you right now, this is over 15 years professionally, but as a life myself, 30 years of understanding bullying and victimhood. Let's be honest. Victimhood is what's really going on. Because see, as a disease works, I bully him. Now he's gotten the victimhood issue. Now he will turn that into a bully, and now he's gonna go to the next person. That's the society we live in, and it's because at the end of the day, that's how it was. Let's be honest. The fact that before 1900s there was slavery, that's bullying. Let's be honest. I'm taking somebody and I'm telling them, you're nothing. I have money. You do what I tell you to do. Crazy.
The same thing.
Now instead of money, followers. I got followers. You listen to what I say. Media, mainstream media. Sorry, I had a cough. Oh, it's not COVID, don't worry. The point is this. And at the end of the day is this. Through laughter, you unlock all this stuff. Through meditation, you unlock all this stuff. Through Anthony's teachings of stuff, you unlock all this stuff.
Because communication, period, also.
Yeah.
That's one thing that we've lacked significantly, and we've been talking about this all the time. Communication is the number one, and I myself had a hard time communicating growing up, just because it's always, I don't want to hurt the person's feelings, but at the same time, you need to express how much it is, how much you need to let off your chest, and whether it hurts the person or not, they should be thankful for you telling them the truth. But most people nowadays can't accept the truth whatsoever. They can't. And they could say they are, but they never will. They'll never accept the truth.
And a massive thing Anthony and I are going to work on is non-violent communication, which I'm trained in as well, to teach everybody. How can we give a message without causing more violence? And here's the reality. People say the truth. But here's the reality of the truth. If it's your opinion, it's not really the truth, like TJ was mentioning. Here's how you mention the truth. First, you gotta target the issue. In life, like I teach my students, especially towards bullies and stuff, is that we're not hating on the person, we're hating on their actions. Because see, actions are everything, right? Look, we're being kind with each other. We know how to be kind by now because it's 10 years later after high school. Let's be honest, high school's crap. High school is literally popularity, who gets what, and that's it. And that's what it is. But now when you get older, you realize, God, that was such baloney, right?
Oh, yeah.
Such baloney.
Like, how much did we stress in high school? And now you look at it 10 years later, and what do you see? You're like, what the fuck? All the people that I apparently respected because they were popular, because this, because that, and you look at them now, and then they come up to you and be like, wow, man, like, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing wow, like, and it's like, dude, I remember you when, like, you barely talked to me, and now it's like, I want to be your friend, and now it's like this big switch up, you know?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we've been lied to,
Yeah.
and we've lived a life where we think it has to go a certain way.
Yeah.
And the reality is, the moment your chakras get open, start realizing things, it's all a joke. It's all a hologram. That's for next week. So let's move on to the next
Well, that's the
one,
throat chakra, which is perfect.
which is what we've been doing. So go for it.
Opening up, yeah. So the throat chakra, which is blue, the color blue, and this is, it's funny because a lot of people are having throat issues nowadays. Some that are vaccinated, some that aren't vaccinated, whatever the case may be, but it's your expression in life, your creativity. So your blue is your creativity, and a lot of people, I think, and I see this a lot in practice too, they're not doing what they actually love to do, and they're doing stuff for other people but not for themselves. They don't say how much they love something or who they love someone, how much they love someone. And I know I'm gonna speak about Andrew because I know Andrew is open to me saying this, but we've unlocked a lot, and like I had posted last Friday or something, we've unlocked a lot, and realizing how he's been blocked and he's been opening or understanding a lot more with energies and opening communication significantly. He's an open book, especially with me, but the more he communicates, the more he's unleashing so much stuff, and you know what, it makes me realize how much I've been holding back as well. And the more I communicate, good or bad, there's always a way of communicating things, but just unlocking your communication and your creativity skills, how much further you can, or how much happier you could be in general. It's you hold back on something that's the truth, and you hide it from people.
Yep.
Sometimes, you're holding a secret from someone. How much does that bug you from telling that person how much you actually want to tell them? If you don't give a shit and you don't want to tell them, you just want to hide it from someone, that's fine too. And I'm not saying that might block you. If you're able to control it or whatever, that might not block you. But if there's something really deep down that you want to say and you can't say it, how often do you feel like I can't speak? How many times does that happen, right? And I know for a fact because that happens with me as well. So that unleashes a lot in many aspects and in many facets of life.
I'm gonna add to that. Sam said he's snoozing, but yes, the work you've done with Andrew saved our relationship, and that's amazing.
I know. You know what? Thank you for saying that. I want to congratulate Andrew and Sam for being back together. And you know what? Because of taking a step back and understanding how they had to communicate their own ways, they've been communicating non-stop, but fixing their issues not with each other, but for themselves as well. They understood what needed to be done, and it brought them back together. And you know what? I couldn't be any happier because they're good.
Like, I wanted to add to that, it's perfect timing, is that sometimes, you're talking about the throat chakra and being able to speak and being able to talk and communicate. The thing is, especially when it comes to relationships, even friendships, especially at our age now, it's a very crucial moment, a very crucial time where you have to not fear losing people. And that's just what it is. And if it's through communication, where you need to tell somebody, listen, this is not right, I don't believe that whatever so-and-so did this or you did this to me, but sometimes it's just communication. And sometimes you cannot be afraid tell the person, listen, it's not happening. That's it. Especially when it comes to relationship. How many people do you know that are in poisonous relationships, and from an outside perspective you see this, and he's not communicating with her and she's not communicating with him, and in the end it's just two magnets pushing against each other. Eventually you're gonna break up anyway, or something worse is gonna happen.
Yep.
Marital, who hits who, whatever. Exactly. Police have to get involved. Is that all because the communication level wasn't there from the beginning? The truth didn't come out. So much stress and compressed emotions. Well, there you go.
Well, I'm going to take Sam and Andrew the example. Same thing. If you took that communication step and you took that step back, maybe it's going to make your relationship to the next level. If you realize that it's for your own good, like Sam and Andrew, I'm sure right now their relationship is just going to skyrocket because they understood their flaws and they're able to communicate their flaws much more efficiently. I was going to say something stupid, but if you want to say something to someone, say it. The other day I texted my best friend, yo, I love you. And he looked at me like, what the fuck you texting me? It's like, dude, I love you. Don't worry, man. That's all.
Yeah, how'd you feel about that, DJ?
I didn't get nothing. All I
I
get
tell him all the time.
all I get is, you're coming in tomorrow.
But to add on to this amazing reality of relationship is that no one's ever taught us social emotional learning. And that's something I've specialized in for the longest time, and now I'm finally getting certified to be considered an SEL, which is social emotional learning facilitator. And it's another thing Anthony and I are going to talk about, how we can help. And there's 5 parts to it: responsible decision making, social awareness, relationships, self-awareness, and self-management. And through these courses, which I'm planning to give to anyone who's willing to get it, because it's my passion, it's been my passion for the longest of time. I got to find out that I'm actually gifted in it, so that's fun. And so I'm really excited to do that and be part of Kabbalah to help that out. Kabbalist. Sorry, I have a speech issue too. And just to finish off on speech, it's we're gonna actually have a fun experiment with water, and we're gonna freeze it later. And it's the idea that if you give hate, it's still something. If you give love, it's much better. What you get to find out that's worse than anything else, guess what it is, TJ? Nothing, which is the word neglect. Now, when people say ignorance is bliss, I repeat, ignorance is neglect, is abuse. And if you think about it, it is abuse. Because if I neglect this plant, it will die automatically. If I give it, maybe let's say the word wrong for fun, not enough water, maybe not enough sunlight, it still grows, but it grows with issues. If I give it the full love that it needs, it deserves, well, look, it's pretty cool. Even though that one's fake, I just noticed. I just noticed it was fake. But look outside, look at the plants. It's crazy because these plants, no one's really taking care of them. They just grow. They're there. So technically, if you think about it, do we need to cause so much issues? Sometimes we do that. We do it on purpose.
I think
but we don't even know we do it on
We
purpose.
think too. It's like we said before, the perceived stress, the perceived emotional stress that we think ahead too far. I mean, it's a destructive facet. We all do it. I do it all every day as well. And you try and control it. You have to just try and fight harder for it and understand that you can't stress yourself for what's to come that hasn't even come, because you create scenarios in your head that aren't even true.
Yep.
And it's like, I stressed out for nothing. Why the fuck did I do that to myself?
And you know what? There's a great quote that goes, once you worry about the past, you're destroying your future. And then your present is gone. You just lost it. Here's a moment. We're live. We're moment. This is moments. We're having a great time because it's the moment. We're not talking about the future, not about the past. We're talking about the moment. Our dreams, if anything. Our goals. And we're going to manifest it because we're positively saying we want to contribute.
Like when people say, you got to live one day at a time. You have no choice. You can't live 2 days at a time. It's just what it is. You gotta live that day. It's good to look for the future. It's good to aspire, and it's good to have goals set in motion. But it's not good to just future. What's happening now? Oh, I don't know. It's all about the future.
You're never enjoying the moment.
So what's our next chakra?
The next one, and I'm so happy he's the one asking, is their third eye. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, this is your forte on this. The third eye.
Where do we start with the third eye? So the third eye,
Like a cyclops.
like a cyclops.
Cyclops only has one eye.
So your third eye basically is where you're meant to see everything. Your answers are all there. A lot of people's third eye, and I'm one that had to open my third eye, but a lot of people's third eye is blocked, and you could unblock that through meditation. And I think it's blocked also because we're just too stressed and we're just too focused on the material aspect of things and not our intuition. And by the way, it's the color purple as well. The third eye is, if we think of it physically and scientifically as well, the third eye is what holds your melatonin. It's part of your pineal gland. So the pineal gland is what's gonna secrete your hormones. So if that third eye is blocked, you won't get the hormones you need pretty much, and you won't have the melatonin that you need to have a deep sleep and create the dreams that you want. I mean, I'm going a little far-fetched, but if you think physically and energy together, it actually makes sense. And I always come back to this, but there's one thing I actually want to do that, and I'm never one to do drugs and mushrooms and all this stuff, but this is something pretty natural, so I don't mind doing it.
Smoke crack. I knew it.
No, it's called ayahuasca.
Yes,
Okay.
I've heard of this.
Ayahuasca pretty much opens your third eye 100%. And this is something that I want to do to experience my third eye, because you're opening your third eye. You could open it through correcting your chakras. You could do it through so many things, but actually living the ayahuasca experience is something mind-boggling, because
I'd be willing to do it with you.
we're going to Peru if that's the case.
So Joey says,
Let's
let's
do
do
it,
it.
yeah.
Sam says, ayahuasca, and yes, sass. What's up with you guys? You're a bunch of fucking drug addicts. Everyone wants to do this shit. I'm here like, I want to smoke some crack. Nah, fuck that. We need that ayahuasca.
Who's the drug addict over here?
Smoke some crack.
So the ayahuasca it's really opening, to get you to that higher conscious level, to the higher power and whatnot. And you could see a whole bunch of things that you don't see through the naked eye, and you could probably do what Dragon Ball Z does.
Nah, probably. Yeah. I can just picture Anthony running naked in the forest.
That's because of crack cocaine.
Yeah,
You know what?
I was like, ayahuasca.
You know
was
what?
like crack.
Actually, Gary. Side note here, but Gary was over yesterday, and you know what he was saying? On Discovery Channel, they actually have a TV show called Naked and
Naked and
Afraid.
Afraid. Yeah. Naked
And
shit.
you're all just naked in the
Yeah.
fight. I didn't know you're in the
Like-
wilderness and you're just trying to fight for survival.
Yeah, that's a little bit much. You just have to sit there and be naked in front of a camera. It's like, can you picture like what goes behind the scenes to these shows? Like they cut the camera and there's like a buffet in back so we can eat a bit, you know? Because like, let's be honest, who the fuck's gonna survive there? When you're naked in the who does this shit?
Especially with lions around.
Yeah, seriously.
Lions, tigers, fucking God knows what.
To add on to the third eye, I love, my favorite word in the world is perception. And the reason why it's the best word in the world is because that's the only way you get to do the truth. See, perception is being able to see someone's opinion, why it's there, to see your own opinion, why it's there, and then you get to the third level of society and how that works together. Because see, let's be fully honest, I teach students that rudeness is because of manners. If he comes from one house, I come from another house, he comes from another house where they do crack, they're gonna think it's normal. But we're gonna see it as, that's super rude. What are you doing to yourself? That's how rudeness works. But when you see where a person comes from, their background and their lifestyle makes sense. And you're not gonna impose anything, you're going to understand. The next level is mean, and meanness is because of anger. Who can tell me right now that you learned how to do anger control with your parents around? Any takers?
There is no anger in life. There was never supposed to be anger or fear or any of this negativity crap, right? So where did we learn it from?
Exactly. Learned behavior. And let's be honest, we're talking about a society before us who lived World War One, World War Two, the Cold War. It was war all the time. And now we're in a pandemic. We're not doing wars anymore. It's a different type of war. And that's for next week as well, or the week after that.
But to add to that, you know, I've listened to a lot of podcasts with a lot of guys who were in the military, and I have a lot of friends who are in the military. I like to talk to these guys because these guys have really seen the shit. When I say shit, I mean the real shit. These kids that want to complain about life
Did
here.
you wipe with the leaf at least?
No. Like I'm saying, like when you're you know you're surrounded by death, surrounded by poverty, surrounded by I think the worst imaginable things, and you know a lot of them have the same thing. Is that war? When it comes down to it, war between me and Chris and you. I have a gun, you have a gun, you whatever. At the end of the day, you know who your you know who your enemy is. That's war, right? I mean, there's nothing really complicated about it. I kill you, you try to kill me. It is what it is. When we're talking about a pandemic, we don't know who our enemy is. Well, we know who our enemy is. We understand who and what controls who and why.
For another episode.
Yeah, but we really don't know who physically is our enemy. So right now, what it's turning into is that our enemy can be our best friends. And that's like one of the fucking scariest shits in Super Saiyan Wars, you know?
And you know what? I'm happy you brought that up because a third eye allows you to notice where has this fear come from. I love my family, I love my friends, and I know where this fear is coming from. It's the mainstream media.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read to you
Passage of the Bible, mom.
something that is very, very important. Where did I put it now?
And where's the crack again? Do you put it in the back? Yeah, no, that's Coke. Crack, you gotta cook it with.
We're waiting, I'm going to say how, you know, the third eye is working on your perception. That's an emotional level and an intellectual level. But there is physical, which is exactly what you talked about. Because if your brain is not producing what it needs to produce, then what happens to you? For example,
You become like me.
if your stomach isn't producing what it needs so that your food can be digested properly, what happens?
You don't get all the
You don't
nutrients.
get all the nutrients,
Oh,
you don't
look
get
at
the
you.
nutrients, your body starts to fail, your immune system starts to fall apart, and you get sick.
There you go.
Right?
And that's
Crack.
from the guy who thinks he's stupid, when in reality he's not.
He's been learning.
Exactly.
I
And
learned-
so you start to realize these things and you start asking yourself, but what's going on? Who's informing me all this negative stuff? And the truth is, it is mainstream media, and I'm really looking for it because it is.
had it
Okay,
last
there it is. So, according to research made, 91% of stories by the US major media outlets are negative in tone. Okay? Think about that for a second, because tone does affect your energy, right?
Of course.
Right? Like right now we're talking at a level where it's open, we're collaborating. But like he mentioned, if someone's opinion is shutting you down, it doesn't feel good inside. And here's the reality. 91% of major outlets in the US is negative.
Yeah.
CNN, CTV, think about any news network that you're possibly paying for, because technically speaking, you don't need mainstream cable anymore. You got the internet, you got everything. Until, you know, Trudeau does Bill 7, I mean, so Bill 10, whatever.
Call me Trudeau. Oops, sorry, I
Now,
say that online.
54% of non-US major sources are negative. 54. That's insane. That means there's only like maybe half of it that's not as negative as it's supposed to be. And then 65% of scientific journals are negative. How are these researches supposed to make us feel better if they're 65% negative? How is that supposed to make you feel better about yourself, right?
And how does it start? Like you watch any CTV news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Hi, my name is da da da. and COVID cases are on the rise again here in Montreal, blah blah blah. And it's like it's always the first. It's like, oh, they're on the rise again. They always have to open up with this
And look at
fucking
how
sad
and look
shit.
at your tone.
Yeah, you
And
know.
look at how you just sat
Like,
into your
yeah,
chair.
that's it. It's like, oh,
God.
okay, here we go again. It's like that weight on your shoulder again, and now you're being force fed this fucking information. Oh, I'm on the rises again. And today, a woman dies at 94 years old that was shot in the. But it's always like it's like that fucking sell tactic to sell you all the negative shit. Because everyone's like, oh, did you hear the
Yeah,
girl?
but it's because negativity sells.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the
It's
problem.
like,
Negativity
instead
sells.
of going around Montreal, whatever, going around and seeing the people who are actually fucking making a difference, actually doing the things they have to, putting it on the news, so people say, "Wow, holy crap!" Like these guys, like gave money to here. These guys opened up a bistro and gave whatever and tried to help the community. This, that. No. Oh, COVID cases are on the rise today. Everybody has to be careful. Wear your triple masks. Oh God. Oh, and today there was 14 people shot and blah blah blah. Oh, in the United States, and you know, like same thing with when Donald Trump was in power. Let's be honest. You can like him, you can hate him, you can love him, whatever. That's your opinion, and this is my opinion. But at the end, everything they reported on Donald Trump, there was never anything positive. Nothing. Not one thing.
Zero.
Zero. Not one thing. And if you're telling me, even the people that are telling me that that was normal, that this guy, as president of the United States, didn't do one thing right, that just goes to show you how media is just sick and twisted. But yet Biden has been fucking up left, right, and center forward, the worst president in the history of the United States.
positive.
But yet he's held up there like a fucking god. The guy can't even fucking talk, can't read. He's 47 years in fucking politics. All he did was write a crime bill that put more black people in jail than any other president ever. Sorry, we're going off topic right there, but that's how fucked up the media is. But you guys don't know that, but we know that because that's the fucking truth. But they don't want you to believe that.
And before we get canceled, I'm
there
going
it
to
is.
stop him.
Yeah.
And
But-
here's something you can research on your own. It's called SFGATE. And there's a doctor who, his own opinion, Dr. Monica Gandhi and a medical student, Kylie Hunter, argue how the Delta variant panic could cause more harm than good.
Yep.
Panic, perceived stress, messaging heightened anxiety, and new masking guidelines around the Delta variant also sends a confusing message about vaccines and their effectiveness.
But haven't they been perceiving stress since day one? Because they said, oh, the third wave is going to be then. Oh,
Yeah.
the fourth wave is
Yeah.
going to be then. Oh, but then next week is this. They never really actually talk about what's happening now.
Did you guys see the video of Chris Sky of last year?
Yeah.
Last year,
Yeah,
where
he called
he
everything.
called every single thing that happened, everything to the
To the T.
fucking T.
To the
He
T.
said it. He said everything to the T. And yet there's still people saying, money is fucking conspiracy theorists, eh? What are you fucking serious? We're not conspiracy theorists anymore. These are people that literally called out everything that was gonna happen a year ago. It happened. These conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I
you know
can't
what?
believe it. They're ruining the world.
Just to finish that conversation, anyone who would have said at the beginning of all this that it could have been a possible lab leak,
Yeah.
scream conspiracy.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you go right now, you get to find out the possibilities are there.
Yeah.
And it's true because in Wuhan, there is a center,
Yeah.
and Dr. Fauci's emails literally proved that it was going on. So before anyone should say conspiracy and anyone screams that out,
Yeah.
ask yourself two questions. One, is someone fear-mongering and shaming someone's opinion?
Yeah.
And number two, but there's evidence.
Yeah.
If there's evidence, it's not a conspiracy. A conspiracy was without evidence. And if you want to talk about conspiracies, let's talk about UFOs for a second. Donald Trump literally released all the UFO documents. You can check that out. You can check out Project Blue Book. It's all real.
Enzo's going to love that.
So before anyone ever says conspiracy again, bite your tongue and ask yourself, wait, where's the reality and where is it fake? Because you know what? We can totally talk about fake stuff. I can come up with a fictional story right now if I wanted to. I won't. But I can. But if I want to look at stuff that's possibly real and I want to learn more about it, who are others to shun me about that? Let's talk about book burning for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
if you know what book burning is, you know right now that that's removing knowledge from society.
History.
This thing here, in history, yes. This thing over here allows you to all kinds of information. Because let's be honest, there's no one out there who can really close down everything. Look, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere that's been taking down information is starting to realize, whoa, what is this? Like Facebook jail.
Yeah.
Or
Facebook jail.
their best stuff, terrorism. Are you listening to terrorism stuff? Well, come on.
Terrorism.
Like, ISIS was terrorism. You're gonna tell me putting a message about COVID is terrorism? Come on. Like, where are the standards now? Anyways, let's move on to the last one, which is the crown chakra.
Crown chakra. This is where you hit. So there's a book called Power versus Force, and the author, the Dr. David, I forgot his last name. Dr. David H. I forgot his full last name. Basically, comes down with a structure, and this is all based on muscle testing and energy. So he really breaks down and makes you understand that kinetic energy and muscle testing gives you the answers to everything. Okay, and I'm not the one saying it; he's the one saying it, and he's brought this about. I mean, he's a doctor. He brought this about has been many years ago.
Can I just add on for a second?
Yeah.
I want you to understand what PhD actually means, and it doesn't mean pretty huge. It means.
Hey, I was wondering I was wondering like that too.
I had a PhD.
What it actually means is somebody learned the basic knowledge that's out there. Then he made a piece of paper, or she made a piece of paper to say, okay, this is where we're at in society on the knowledge of it. Here's where I want to go. Keep that in mind, because when we're talking about doctors, we're talking about people who literally worked as hard as they did the mainstream way, went out there and want to explore something new. Keep that in mind. And when they get shunned, it's the same thing TJ said. It's people shunning them, but they have evidence. They're doctors. They did research, but for some reason, you ain't gonna be able to see it because it's not the research they want you to see. And that's a whole different topic. Please, tell us about David.
So this doctor here, he came out with I guess you can say a chart of how your vibrations, the level of vibrations. So the lower the vibrations, the more negative it is. So I'm not going to go through all the numbers and steps and stuff, but lower than 200, basically you are at 200 is where your courage level starts. And from 200 and up, that is when you will excel in, hold on a second. So that's when you will excel in higher vibrations. So from 200 and on, you have courage, you have, anyway, I'm not going to go on to it. I'm just going to go from that.
For another episode.
Yeah. So from 500 to 550 is where you get peace and joy, and then from 600 and up is when you get the enlightenment. It's where you get the light and joy, the light that you connect to the higher source. So this is where the crown chakra comes in, which is your white energy, is your white color. And from here, you open yourself to a greater realm, and you end up realizing what the higher source is.
So if you want to take care
Yeah,
of that, I'll
the-
just mention
the
more
planet.
about frequencies, because frequencies at the end of the day are real. They are. Imagine this. How is it that radio started? Think about that. When you turn on your radio, it's a frequency. No? When you make music, it's a frequency. Imagine even cooler stuff. TV and everything that's happening right now as we speak. You are literally taking in all this into a frequency on the internet, getting into here. That's all frequency. So if you're going to tell me that frequency doesn't exist within ourselves, well, that's ridiculous. What about your heart frequency? When you get put into hospital and they check out your heart, they're checking your frequency.
Yeah, there's that.
It's all real. It's all real. So this is where it's very important to talk about truth as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Anyone who argues against that obviously had a horrible math teacher.
Oh, I think we had a couple. We had a fucking couple, man.
So, as Anthony was saying, the 7 chakras are crown, and then it goes into an 8th one. Now, the 8th one isn't technically a part of you, but it communicates with you. Do you want to mention that?
That is your higher source. So the 8th chakra, which we don't really talk about, but that is the source. So once you have connected your whole 7 chakras, you're able to attain the level of consciousness of the source. You're basically acting on behalf of the source, and you're getting the answers that you ask for, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's the simplest way to put it.
So, I think we've passed the 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I think an hour. It's over
Does
an hour.
anyone want to message us, maybe ask a question? We'll take that for the next 5 minutes.
Well,
and
they're
then,
probably gonna. What's gonna happen is that they're gonna watch this later on. I know a lot of
Cool.
people watch it later on because we
then
post it,
they're gonna get a lot of
and they're probably gonna
questions.
get questions. They're gonna be after.
So send us some questions.
Yeah.
We'll be very happy to answer next week. We'll have a Q&A next week, and then we'll bring up another topic after that. Why not? That's a great way of going about it.
good to me.
All right, guys. Well, Chris, thank you very much for being. We're gonna be seeing you a lot more often, honestly.
And I can't wait to meet all of you. We care.
We care. Wear your masks. Wear your.
It's my slogan.
Yeah.
You'll get to know us.
Well, for sure, if you guys come for coffee or whatnot, you'll end up seeing Chris laughing away and making everybody joyful and less stressed. That's
Also,
Yeah, and we could totally make some laughter competitions for
Yeah.
fun.
Also,
That'd be cool.
if you guys wanna, if you guys think that you have something smart to say or
We'd
wanna
like
be
to
on, you wanna
contribute
be
because
contribute,
everyone is smart.
Yeah, you could.
Poor guy.
Yeah, you could DM us and we'll put you on the show.
And if you guys have a question directly for Chris, just message us and we'll ask Chris directly and we'll answer you right back.
We will be having other guests too that are lined
Yep.
up for the next couple of weeks.
Cool.
Yeah.
Name them or
We'll wait until we. I know. Well, Sandro for sure is gonna be on. So Sandro is gonna be joining us maybe either next week or the week after. We're gonna be talking about all kinds of funny stuff, martial arts, beating the crap out of people, all the good
definitely
stuff.
not gonna be sitting in the middle of that.
And yeah. So Chris, thank you very much again for being
Yeah,
on the show.
thank
That
you,
was a really good one, guys. If
Honestly, it just flew right by.
yeah,
I
it flew
didn't
right
even
by.
feel like this
It
was
was
an hour.
fun stuff. We had a lot of fun doing this. And
I hope everyone enjoys it as well.
Learn something and open their eyes to something else.
And remember, guys, I think the most important thing, it's like what we said, opinions, guys. Have your opinion, do your research, do good, try to help as many people as you can if you can.
And you know what?
That's
Let's finish off on a great quote
Yeah.
that goes. Where is it?
Yeah, got cold in there.
Man, it's on my Facebook for sure.
Fachabu.
What's the matter, Chris? You don't have yeah.
It's gonna be worth it. Give me a minute. There it is. Okay. So, what is the secret to eternal happiness? To not argue with fools. And then he says, I disagree. And the wise man says, yes, you are right. Alright, that's all you're gonna have.
Yes, you're right. Smile and nod, boys.
And walk
Smile
away.
and nod. That's it. All right, guys.
All right, guys. Till next time.
Thank you. No Name Podcast, episode 15. And now the news. And today we're in the news. Yeah.
Now
17 people are
it's
dead.
the bloopers again.
Yeah.